Hey everybody, hey there, welcome in. Hope you're doing good. Just gonna go ahead and bring up everything over here. So glad to take time today. Waiting for that notification to go out to everybody and see who is available, who's watching. Get my notes together here on the other side. That would be good. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started with or without anybody. Do me a favor, if you stop in, say hello. Give me a happy day or whatnot. That would be awesome. But we're going to talk a little bit today. I think I titled this, dip your toe in the water. Kind of how are we going to get started? So I know that if you're not doing anything, then that's exactly what you're doing is nothing. And so you have to get started. You have to try a few things in order to, get going. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. So we'll see how that goes. See who's going to join us. We'll give it another minute or so, and we'll just take off. It's okay. Again, I'm really doing this for everyone's benefit, but also more for my own staying focused here. I really want to help people. I want to make a difference every day. And even if that's an investment in my own life, I'm happy to do that. Last week we talked about being intentional. That was Heather's word, and the importance of doing things on purpose. And that's relevant in every area of our lives. We need to be intentional. Just in the plan that we have for each day, we need to be intentional in the relationships we have with other people. We need to be intentional in our choices, and that flows right into our weight loss journeys. And so, one thing I forgot to do was I forgot to share this in the Facebook group. We'll share it later. That's okay. So getting started here, right? Dipping your toe in the water. You got to start somewhere. And so, I've heard it said that you can change the world with setting certain things in place in your life. And the first thing that they said was to make your bed. I'm guilty. I don't make my bed. Most of the reason why I don't make my bed is 100% because I'm lazy. But number two, because someone's sleeping in my bed after I get out of it. But there, something as simple as starting your day out by accomplishing something intentionally is going to allow you to have that mindset of, hey, I can get things done. A lot of times we struggle, especially in our weight loss journey, it is because of laziness. We're not going to get started because we're afraid we can't finish. We're not going to get going because we're afraid that we'll fail. But the reality is, if we started out each day by doing that small task, making our breakfast, cleaning the kitchen before we go to bed at night, like simple tasks that we can 100% accomplish, we would then, hey, I didn't even see your comment there. Hi, buddy. If we started out with those little things, just so my first one then for dipping our toe in the water is to make a commitment for this week. And maybe it is just that. Maybe it is this. 1 second here. Okay. Maybe it is this small task, of saying today I'm going to clean, I'm going to make my bed in the morning, and we've accomplished that. And so this week, each day, I'm going to clean. I'm going to clean. I keep saying that. I'm going to make the bed. And as you conquer that each day, you see that you can conquer things that you set as a goal. And, so maybe it's I'm going to clean the kitchen at night before I go to bed. A lot of times I'll tell Heather that, hey, I'll take care of the dishes. Um, and usually when I do that is I do that when I'm making breakfast. Um, and it's just easier for me to do it then because that's when I'm standing in the kitchen. Um, but the reality is if we can tackle that small space of clutter, um, it's going to free up some clutter in our mind as well. When you walk into your bedroom and your bed is made, that's just kind of a place of everything's in place, everything's right, everything is proper. Same thing when you walk into the kitchen, when the dishes are done and they're not on the counter, or like I put them in the sink. Uh, you don't have a sink full of a task that eventually if you don't address it, it's going to become much more of a barrier towards free thinking, towards flowing through the home. And so conquering a small area of our life on a regular basis is going to allow us to adopt this mentality of conquering bigger things and seeing that we can. And so this first task I'm saying for dipping your toe in the water is make a commitment for the week. Don't we've talked about the New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. You don't have to try and tackle great tasks for the year. You don't even have to try and tackle great tasks for the month. Right now, I would say set a plan, a commitment to yourself for what you want to get accomplished this week. It might look like one thing per day. Um, but if you can prove to yourself that you can conquer accomplishing 7 things this week because you have 7 days, you can create some confidence that you can do this in other areas of your life. So maybe it is this morning when I get up, I'm going to make the bed, and then, begin my normal routine. It's going to be easier for you to add things in there when you see, okay, I can do this, what I've committed to already. So make a commitment for the week. The next suggestion that I have, and some of these I don't have in place, and I probably would be better off if I did. Um, you know, I'm very much most of my life free. I don't know about free spirit, but I'm like a go with the flow. I'm shoot from the hip, like on the fly, make choices as we go. And I would be so much better off in life. She says late. That's all right. It's good to see your face because I can see your face right here. Welcome in. Just was reading testimony of the missionary Elizabeth Elliot. It was about do the next thing. Exactly. That's huge, right? And we can't do the next thing if we don't know what the next thing is. So making a commitment for the week um, is it's a good motto to live by. I agree. Making a list for the week, starting out dipping our toe in for this thing, is going to help prepare us. So, where are we going to put this list? The next suggestion I have is start journaling. Start a journal, a diary, whatever you want to call it. You can document what's happened. You can document where your thoughts are at. You can document your commitment for this week, your plan. Um, because once it's documented, you can then confirm if it was executed. You can check and see if it actually happened. You can go back and reflect on maybe where your thoughts were at. What was heavy on your mind? Maybe there was a barrier in your life, and 6 months from now when you're looking at it, you can see you conquered that barrier, and that's again building even more confidence to show you can do different things. So start a journal. Maybe it's get formal about it. Go out and find a really nice notebook that that you really liked, and maybe treat yourself. Get the we Heather and I were at the Walmart the other day. We do not go to Walmart very often. It's just not in our path, I guess. It's out of the way to go there. Um, but they had trapper keepers at Walmart, and they had trapper keepers when we were in school. So it was like a throwback thing for us. It was like nostalgic, and so maybe it's treat yourself to an $11 trapper keeper that looks like not close proximity exactly. Get one that reminds you of the Max from Saved by the Bell. With the little retro design on it, and that's what you're going to hold on to. You're going to treasure, and you're going to use to document this stuff. Maybe you're, grab a napkin kind of person and get a shoebox and just start putting your napkins, whatever is going to work for you, to actually just routinely, regularly document what's going on. Hey, Glenn, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Maybe you need to, get that trapper keeper then, Heather Marie. Um, I absolutely need more organization in my life. For me, the sound of the trapper creeper Velcro, that's like throwback for me. Like you're sitting in class begins, the bell rings, everybody's quiet, and then you hear about 14 people like rip open the Velcro. Um, um, maybe it's a composition pad. I remember having to get a composition pad every year. The black and white covered hook and loop. That's right, hook and loop. It is not. It's hook and loop. Um, yeah. So maybe it's a composition pad for you. Those black and white notebooks without the spiral. Maybe it's a spiral notebook, but get something that you will regularly enjoy using to document your path, your journey. If I got it, I would want to put all my animals' records in it. Yes, I know. Um, uh, maybe maybe that's a thing to add to your commitment for this week, is that you're going to go out and get your journal, and you're going to start journaling. Maybe it's not I'm going to make the bed every day. Maybe it's not I'm going to clean the kitchen before I go to bed. It might not be uh, you know so here's something that I am adding. So um we're gonna make this like a workshop today, okay? um I'm going to start with making my commitment for this week, okay? And so my week is obviously starting Wednesday afternoon, and you're gonna go to Wednesday afternoon because that's what we can track, okay? And so my commitment this week is I'm going to tidy up the bathroom um, each time after I use it. Okay. We have two bathrooms in our house. Um, and I know Mrs. Hartman Maid is like loving this because this is documented, so I have to do it, right? I've come out and given my word on this. What Adam Hartman Maid says he's going to clean up after himself. That's a novel idea. No, but we have two bathrooms in our house. One is attached to our bedroom. It's our full bath, and you can access it from kind of the common area as well as from our bedroom. And then we have a half bath. I call that my bathroom. Well, my bathroom is the bathroom visitors would use, right? And we feed the cats in there, and so all that kind of stuff. It goes on, and if it's off the beaten path and it's not paid attention to, it becomes a project to make sure it gets clean. Just telling the others. Yes, I'm not complaining. She says she's just telling the others how she would use the trapper keeper. Um, but so, anyways, what I'm saying is I'm going to make this commitment to tidy up my bathroom while I'm in there, right? Because then it's not a task every time, and it's something lighter. It's that whole tackling the clutter in our mind. And if I can pay attention to that, well, then when I make some other decision, like I'm going to, I can track my steps or whatever. Although I think these like watches that monitor your activity are a little skewed because, like right now it says that I have 1,569 steps. But if I go like this for a little while, okay, and then I take a look again, um, I have 1,577. So I just walked, around the living room, but I didn't move. So, but if I'm going to tackle something like cleaning up the bathroom every day, then I know if I say I'm going to intentionally walk from my house to the cul-de-sac and back every day as well. And I've already proven to myself when I added a small task like just cleaning up the bathroom while I was in there, I could do it. Then if I say today, this week I'm just going to walk from my house to the cul-de-sac and back, which isn't really that far. Um, I know I can keep small commitments because I'm showing myself I can do it, and we can incorporate these into our lives. I think Beth Rowboat makes journals. Okay, is that a YouTube channel? I'm not sure. Um, I'm so thankful I don't have the people. At least I don't think I don't have the people coming into my chat that write stuff to try and make you say things you shouldn't say. So I can actually read your now I said that right. I'm probably opening myself up for it, but I can actually read your comments and not worry if I'm saying something inappropriate. Reseller YouTuber. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, and maybe it's support your friends, right? Like Harry Tornado always says, and go to Beth Rowboat and get a journal to start documenting it because we're gonna make a commitment. So I've made my commitment this week. I'm not going to start walking to the cul-de-sac every day because I'm going to start by cleaning up after my cleaning up after myself in the bathroom when I'm in that room. I'm going to be intentional. We talked about being intentional last week. Another thing is set a hydration goal. Set a hydration goal. So there are some things that are just like super important when it comes to our weight loss. Um, Hey, Danny, welcome in. Good to see you, man. Uh, I I'm going through kind of a list here of some small things to adopt to tackle. Um, that's awesome, Glenn. I am too. But mine has electrolytes in it. It's got a little bit of a flavor to it. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get there. But Danny, basically, what we're doing is we're talking about kind of some small things to put into place here that are going to help us as we kind of dip our toe in the water on this weight loss journey. So make a commitment for each week. Write it down. Where am I going to write it down? Start a journal. Start journaling. Right? It doesn't have to be Dear Diary, but it might be Dear Diary for you. Whatever's going to work for you to start documenting. Some people it might be writing a list, but other people it might be telling a story. But set a hydration goal. Excuse me. You need to be drinking water. Okay. Think about it. What's the first thing most people do when they wake up? They go get a cup of coffee, right? Well, coffee is what do we call that? Diuretic. Coffee dehydrates you. Coffee removes water from you. Maybe they go get a cup of hot tea. Maybe they go get a caffeinated soda. Um, all of these things are removing essentially liquid life from you. Sometimes you need to get yes, you're not wrong. You are 100% not wrong. And it might be one step, literally, figuratively at a time. I've been listening the whole time. Awesome, cool. Yeah, I like that journaling meals. I think that's a good idea to write down what you've eaten, because not only does it hold you accountable, but if you get to a place where you're like, I just don't know what to eat, go back and look at the successful days and see what you ate. But yeah, so water is essential to life. It is so important, and so reminder to move. 180 steps left this hour. I guess if I just, anyways. Anyways, water is essential to life. Water is life, right? Without water, things die. And so you need to set a goal on how much you're going to be drinking as far as water goes. Um, if you begin to work out and stuff like that and sweat, you're going to be removing essential electrolytes from your body. You need to replenish those. And so you might want to add something to your water that has uh, sodium, potassium, and I always forget what the other one is. Um, cool. Yellow Brick Road reseller sells them, I think, as well. Water goal. um, you may need to add some electrolytes into your water if you're going to be working out, sweating them out. That's so good for you. But I've heard them say, for every 10 pounds of weight, you should be drinking. What is it? So no, for every 1 pound of weight is 1 ounce of water. So if you're 100 pounds, you drink 100 ounces of water. If you're going to get formal and you're going to look it up, I have done no research, over here to give you a goal and say, hey, drink this much. No, I'm telling you, decide how much water I'm going to drink this week. And so, we drink out of mason jars a lot here. Um, we like them, and so maybe the goal is for me every hour that I'm sitting here at my desk, I'm going to drink a jar of water. Now, fortunately for me, the bathroom isn't too far, so if I do drink a jar of water, um, yeah, and that's a good idea, right? Your body's telling you you're thirsty, so drink. When we go to the gym, we always take a water bottle, and it's my goal to drink the entire water bottle while I'm at the gym. If I drink more than that, that's wonderful. They have water there I can refill it with. But the first one for me always has those electrolytes in, so I am expelling and spending those electrolytes, and I'm also replenishing them at the same time while I'm at the gym. So maybe the goal is for you to say, I'm going to drink, you know, I've seen those bottles, right, where people are like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and they know they have set a goal for themselves on how much water they're going to drink, and so they know when to refill that bottle. Um, but you have to, and you know what you're showing yourself. You're showing yourself you can pay attention to something and you can accomplish something. Meanwhile, you're taking care of yourself. Um, this one I think is huge. I think it's super important. Not Gatorade in a bottle. The mix is the best. Um, yeah, that's what it was. Half your body weight in ounces of fluids a day is a good goal. So some of us are going to drink more water than others. Let's just be real. Little Debbie, you're not going to tackle the same amount of water bottles as I'm going to. That's the end of that one, guys. So this one I think is important, and I call it lay down the law. Lay down the law. Okay, we got our commitment for the week. We're starting a journal. Okay, I'm going to clean up in the bathroom when I'm using the bathroom, so that it's not a chore that needs to be accomplished. It's going to require me a bunch of time throughout or at the end of the week. I'm going to save time and I'm going to tackle it while I'm using it. While I'm there. Start a journal. We're going to start writing stuff down, and we're going to reflect on what's gone on. We're going to plan what's going to happen, right? We're going to set a hydration goal. Write it down, formalize it, okay? Don't just put it in your head, and because the thing is, we can bend the rules if we don't write them down, and that's where we come to lay down the law. It's time to decide. Funny, drinking water from a mason jar for. Hey, yeah. So, Glenn, you're drinking water from a mason jar right now. I love it. And it's not mountain water, right? Or whatever they call it, mountain lightning or whatever. It's we just drink high quality H2O. Lay down the law, okay, guys. What you're gonna eat and when you're gonna eat it. It's time to decide on a plan. That's cool, Glenn. It's time to decide on a plan. Not the whole well, today I'm gonna eat less than yesterday. Well, if yesterday was some people's Christmas day, then you still could eat quite a bit. You got to write down what you're going to eat, guys. You got to decide, I'm going to try this. One thing I've heard said so many times is you need to decide on an eating plan and you need to give it 8 weeks. 4 weeks is not enough time to measure anything. 6 weeks is probably more accurate, but 8 weeks is going to give you that time to see, how is this really working for me? Well, how are we going to tell that? Because we're going to be writing it in our journal. And so we're going to see how things are going. So in that journal, we can take some measurements. Hey, how many inches around my neck? Guys, that my neck has gone down since I started this thing. I went from like a size, I just got told to rent Piqua resellers. 1 second. There we go. I'm glad that you guys tell me this stuff, because I wouldn't even known it. I appreciate that. Love my Fiji. I think that's Fiji water. All right, squirrel. Tomorrow, it's now time. You got it right, Glenn. It is now is the accepted time, right? Tomorrow is the worst enemy. So I was telling you about the inches in my neck. I went from wearing like a size 22 dress shirt to a size 18. Track how big your wrist is. I can actually almost touch fingers now. Track how big your waist is, how big where your hips are at, your calves, your biceps, right? We can track all that in our journal. We can write it down. And when we lay down the law, when we decide what we're going to eat, we're going to say, okay, we're going to try this eating plan. And for some of you, it might be low calorie. For some of you, it might be no sugar. For some of you, it may be no carbs. For some of you, it may be whatever it is, but write it down, because when you write it down, you're going to stick to it. And then we're going to set a time on this thing. We're going to say for 8 weeks. Okay. I know I'm telling you, make a commitment for the week, and that's going to be in other areas. But with the eating plan, we're going to give this thing 8 weeks. It's so much easier to start out on an eating plan and be like, yeah, this isn't working for me, and just quit right away. It's like when people get put on certain prescription meds, and then the doctor changes them every couple of weeks. And I'm not endorsing or I'm not saying I'm for or against anything in this comment here, but what I'm saying is the doctors don't just a good doctor doesn't just change the prescription every week, because it's not giving your body enough time to show how it's performing. Okay, it's the same thing with a diet. You need to give this thing some time. The first week on the diet, you might be struggling, but you might not see benefits yet until week 3, 4, 5, right? But if we quit on week 2 because we just can't do it, or we just don't see any benefit yet, it's like when you take a picture, the same thing every day for over a period of time, you don't see changes unless you start moving further and further and further away from the start point, right? And that's the thing with the diet, is you need to give this thing some time, this eating plan, some time. And so we're going to lay the law down. Okay. Maybe it's, I'm going to eat no sugar, no carb. And this is the plan. I'm not going to eat past 7 p.m. Okay. I'm not going to eat before 7 a.m. There's huge benefits to setting up a schedule on when you're going to eat, to allow your body to process the food that you're eating, and also allow your body to process without food in its system. Right? There's huge benefits there, and so you need to lay down the law. We need to decide, and I'm going to suggest having a period of meals and a period of fasting, and write it down. I'm going to say from April until probably November of last year, I did not eat at all past 8 p.m. because that was my target that I put out there, and I made it known. After a while, I got comfortable and I've changed that, and now it's sometimes, well, I started eating at 8 o'clock, but my schedule, guys, the last one that I'm going to get at, I'm going to talk about sleep here, but you'll sleep a whole lot better when your belly's not having to digest all that food. Um, I try to do last meal at 6 p.m., next meal noon. That's true intermittent fasting right there, Debbie. And if you're doing that, your body is 100% thanking you. I try not to eat my main meal past 7 p.m. That's, again, that's wise as well. I had to say I'm not going to eat past 8 p.m., meaning I'm done at 8 p.m. So likely starting that last meal at 7 p.m. is wise. Because when I do the whole I try not to, that's when we make exceptions for ourselves. Um, we need we need to have these commitments though, um, to allow us to succeed. We need to. So today we're laying down the law. Get your journal out. Okay. Maybe when you're done watching this, you're gonna need to go to Walmart and get a trapper keeper. Okay. So that you can make your commitment, write that baby down, go pick you up some loose leaf paper, right? Um, and slap it in the 3-ring binder of your trapper keeper. You're gonna start your journal today. You're gonna set your hydration goal today, and you're gonna lay down the law today, guys. It's not hard, and you can evolve the law, right? We can amend the laws, but amending a law is a written process, and so you're going to write that down too. But what you're going to eat and when you're going to eat it. The next thing is you need to move. Okay. I have here set an activity plan. You have to find something you can do. We can all do something. You know, um, it may look different than others. Guys, we got snow the other day. Yeah. Hey, take it easy, Glenn. Again, thanks for stopping in. Have a good night. Um, I knew what you meant. Um, so we got snow here the other day, and it got cold and it got slick, and I was getting out of the car, and my boots slipped out from under me and I jarred my back in. And today I actually feel better, thanks to Heather for helping me with putting stuff on it, and whatnot, taking care of me. But I've had a hard time moving, standing up, sitting down, getting around. It has impacted my activity. Um, and and that's not an excuse to be stagnant, though. We can find some sort of activity. It's funny because when I was watching football on Sunday, I had probably that day already hurt my back, but it hadn't set in yet, and so um, I had my New York Giants hoodie on, my New York Giants hat on, um, and I was jogging from one part of the living room to the other and back and forth, and the dogs were looking at me crazy, and Heather's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I just have energy, so I'm going to use it. That was my activity. After my back prop pain set in, I was not jogging anywhere, um, but that didn't mean I had to sit still. You have to set an activity plan. Okay. If we're going to lose weight, it's going to require two things. It's going to require diet and it's going to require exercise. Okay. And it's math, right? We need to spend more calories than we're taking in most cases, depending on what eating plan you're using. And the more activity you have, the more effective your weight loss is going to be. Can you lose weight without activity? Yes. Is it easy? No. And so, maybe it's walking the dog. I don't necessarily enjoy the weather, but I do enjoy my dogs, and so maybe it's understanding this is good for them, this makes them happy, and so I'm going to take them for a walk to the cul-de-sac, to the other cul-de-sac and back on my lunch hour, right? Some activity. Maybe when the back is hurting, it's okay, I can't do that, but I'll go outside with them, and I'll walk down, I'll get the mail, I'll come back up, maybe walk around the yard, accomplish a little bit of exercise by grabbing the little shovel in the bucket and pick up the deposits that they've left. And that would help out Heather as well. Um, But activity, okay. um Find something you enjoy. Some people like disc golf, some people like regular golf. Some people don't live in an area where you can go disc golfing or regular golfing. Right now here it's in New York. Right now we've gotten some warmer weather and all our snow is melted, and so everything's wet out there, so you can't go snowshoeing. But in the normal winter, maybe it's decide to go on a scenic snowshoe tour around the neighborhood, but find some sort of activity. Um, the reality is when things are getting ready to die, they stop moving. That's just a fact. And I don't know about you, but I'm not planning to get ready to die anytime soon. We've talked about our whys and stuff like that, and so we understand. We all have our motivations for why we want to be healthy. So now it's time to, like Glenn said, one step at a time. Where did he say that? Hold on, I'm looking for it. I'm going to let him say it because he said it much better than me. Okay, you guys know what he said because I can't find it. Did he delete it? Oh no, he didn't. It's right there. Maybe it's time to one step at a time, guys, because things stop moving when they're ready to die. And we're just, guys, none of us are at that point. So we need to get an activity plan together. One thing I asked Heather the other night was, "Do you want to go bowling?" That's something we've really enjoyed together, and she knew my back was hurting, and I said, "Well, maybe it'll stretch my back out a little bit." Um, so maybe it's go bowling and then find out that it's hurting your back and stop, but at least you tried it. Uh, you need to find some activity and find something you're going to enjoy doing. And then the last thing here. That I have is you need to set a sleep schedule. You need to set a sleep schedule. That's easier for some than it is for others. I do know that. Um, the reality is, for some people, it is not easy to fall asleep or stay asleep. But I guess let's try to sit here and figure out how can we make this work. Heather and I were talking earlier today, and she was saying, it might be that we have to decide to stop using devices at a certain time. Okay, you're like, well, that's inconvenient. It's for me, right? Here's my grumbling and groaning. I've been enjoying recently watching all of these silver guys and getting in on their free silver giveaways and the races and stuff like that. And it's like, Heather, if I stop using my phone at 7 o'clock, what if I miss out on getting a free gram of silver or 2 free grams of silver? Or, you know, what if I miss out on who cares? Okay. Uh, let's try something, guys. If this is what's gonna, and realize this, you're not the only one in the house. Um, you know, I was a firefighter for a bunch of years, and I understand the way firefighters work. A lot of firefighters in my family and friends, and the one thing you learn as a firefighter is you never leave your partner. Okay. Um, and so I can remember a time I was 21 years old and I was at the biggest fire I'd ever been to in my life. It was like super um, adrenaline. That's the word I'm looking for. Huge adrenaline rush. It was a warehouse that was on fire. There was like 4 or 5 different fire departments there, and the kid that I was going in with, um, he started having some issues. He was my partner, um, and so we were tagged together, and we were inside of this warehouse. I mean, fire was all around us, and he's like, "I can't stand up," and so he's like, "I'm gonna back out. Just stay here." And I said, I can't just stay here. I need to make sure that you get out okay, and it's not safe for me to be out alone either." Um, and so we backed out, and when we came out, This was a skinnier kid, and I've always been a not skinnier kid. When I came out, they had already heard on our radios that somebody was having problems, and they immediately started taking my helmet off me, taking my air pack off of me, and they're like, "All right, what's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. It's him. You got to worry about him." And and they took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was through the roof, and I'm trying to explain to them, guys, my blood pressure is through the roof because I was literally just standing inside of a fire. It's hot in there. I'm wearing all this gear. I'm carrying this heavy air pack. I'm gonna be fine. I've passed physicals. I'm okay. So meanwhile, I'm in the back of the ambulance, uh, next to this kid, and they didn't let me go back in that fire. The reality is, if my partner did not need some sort of assistance, we never would have known that I was having a problem either. Okay. And so maybe this is a situation where I'm not struggling with the sleep, right? But my partner is. And so she says here, um, that's up to you. I just need to sleep better. So it means less blue light and less phone usage. I need to change in that area for myself, anyways. Okay. And so what I'm saying here is I'm adopting this mentality. And I would like to think I've adopted this mentality, anyways, that if Heather needs something, I 100% I'm going to try and comply, and I'll make changes if necessary. I don't care because she's my number one priority. But maybe there's something wrong with my own sleeping that or some other benefit I'll find by adopting this. And let's try it. If it doesn't work for a week, okay, maybe we change that. They say your brain won't slow down for an extra 30 to 45 minutes. I think I'm going to go off the phone playing games an hour before bed. And I've heard people say, shut your phones off an hour before you go to bed. Just put it away, right? It's got to get charged anyways. Go put it on the charger, leave it alone. If it rings, we know it's important, but the problem is, for me, it's like, I can't tell you how many times I've said this to Heather. It's like, I don't know why I started playing this euchre game. I love playing euchre. And I'll play euchre on my phones. And meanwhile, I'm laying in my bed playing euchre. Okay. I should be going to sleep. And my phone is hitting me in the face because I'm falling asleep. Just put the stupid thing away. How much better will you sleep if you just put the thing away? And so I did a little bit of research over here. So I'm going to try and just throw some ideas out because we're talking about getting a better sleep schedule. And so my thing is we have to try some things to prepare for sleep then. Okay. Um, and so what's going to work? I don't know. Maybe it's wearing those silly yellow glasses. I don't know. I'll try it. If it's going to help, I'll try it. Maybe it's going outside, for a half an hour before we go to bed in the cooler air so that our bodies cool down so that we sleep better. One thing I saw, I Googled tips for better sleep. And so I found this article. It's 20 simple ways to fall asleep quickly. Okay. I don't have a problem falling asleep quickly. Your body repairs itself while in deep sleep. We can all benefit from better sleep, especially in the dreary winter. You're not wrong. So the first thing I see here is lower the temperature. Your body temperature changes as you fall asleep. Your body cools down when you lie down and warms up when you get up. If your room is too warm, you might have a hard time falling asleep. I agree with that. Set your thermostat to a cooler temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit could help. Setting your thermostat to a cooler temperature between 60 and 67 could help. Guys, if we set my thermostat closer to 60, I'm going to be too cold. But we could lower it. We could try that. And our electric bill was the highest it's ever been this month. So I'm all for dropping the thing down a little bit. Individual preferences are going to vary. So you're going to have to find the temperature that works best for you. So lower the temperature here. That's a suggestion on falling asleep. Taking a warm bath or shower could also help speed up the body's temperature changes. As your body cools down afterwards, this could send a signal to your brain to go to sleep. That was another thing that I said, hey, Donna, I lost track of time today. I lose track of time a lot of days, so no problem. I have thought it was Tuesday a few times today because I thought yesterday was Monday. All those other things you're saying are good too. You're good, babe. We'll have to watch the replay. Hey, Heather. So, so this was one thing I've said to Heather. Again, getting your toe in the water, guys. We're not going to lose weight if we're not sleeping right. And so maybe we, again, looking here, a couple of ideas or tips to fall asleep faster, get to sleep better. Um, and so one thing I have said to Heather, maybe take a warm bath before, get some chamomile or some sort of aromatherapy, whatever's going to work. I'll clean the bathtub. I'll scrub it down because, if you take a bath and then you don't wash it down all the way, it's got that film on the side. I will clean the bathtub before it's time for bed. She doesn't like going to sleep with wet hair. I'll put your shower cap thing on you. Whatever you need, I got you. I'm going to help. But it might be it says taking a warm bath or shower could also help, just like I thought in my mind. It's people who took baths. So here's some results here. People who took baths or showers measuring between 104 and 108 degrees Fahrenheit 1 to 2 hours before bedtime experienced positive results. They reported improvements in their sleep even if their bath or showers lasted for as little as 10 minutes. Okay, so first thing here, it says more research is needed, but these findings are promising. Okay, so first suggestion here is change the temperature, whether that's lower the thermostat. I like that. Do the food journal. Yeah, I can go over my list again real fast and then we'll jump back to this. Just for a quick recap. Number one, make a commitment for this week. Okay. Start with one thing you're going to do. It might be making your bed because you're going to show yourself you can accomplish small tasks on a daily basis. If you can accomplish small tasks on a daily basis, then you can conquer other things, right? When it comes to your weight loss goals. For my commitment for this week, starting today after this is over, when I use the bathroom, I'm going to tidy it up in there because as I do that, it won't become a major chore that needs to be done at the end of the week, because it's easier to keep the bathroom clean than to clean it after it's been defiled. It's easier to keep your heart clean than to clean it after it's been defiled, right? So maintenance, right? So that's my commitment, is a little bit of maintenance. Number two, start a journal. Whether that's a food journal, a feelings journal, whatever it is, start writing stuff down. Dear Abby, okay? Number three, set a hydration goal. I'm going to drink however many bottles of water today, how many ounces of water, however many mason jars of water, but make a commitment to yourself on how much you're going to drink. You need to stay hydrated. Your car runs on gas. If there's no gas, it doesn't run well. You run on water. Where there's no water, there's no life. Number three, lay down the law. No, number four, lay down the law. You need to decide today what I'm eating and when I'm eating it. Number five, set an activity plan. And number six, we're setting our sleep schedule. So, first thing, change the temperature. A warm bath sounds nice. Hold on. Larry, a warm bath sounds nice maybe once a week. I don't want to do that every night. That's just me, though. I'm willing to try. I got you, bud. Make my bed every day. Okay, cool. You are on this, lady. So having trouble falling asleep, we're talking about maybe some ways to overcome that. I've done just a quick little bit of Mr. Google search, and just checking out a few things. Use the 478 breathing method. Really cool thing about this Fitbit thing, and I'll show this to you later, Heather, is it has a mindfulness thing, and basically you're supposed to do this before you go to bed. And looking at this, I've actually done one of these. It's similar. But basically regulating your breathing, bringing yourself centered, I guess. Use the 478 breathing method. So what is it? It says first, place the tip of your tongue behind your upper front teeth. Exhale completely through your mouth and make a whoosh sound. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose while mentally counting to 4. Hold your breath and mentally count to 7. Open your mouth and exhale, completely making a whoosh sound and mentally counting to 8. Repeat this cycle at least 3 more times. I just heard Heather laugh at me. This technique can relax you and help you fall asleep quickly. It's not going to work if you're doing it on a YouTube video. I'm on track except for the Bojangles yesterday. Okay. So that's that idea. Get on a schedule. Right? Most people think that children have bedtimes. Okay, guys, do yourself a favor and give yourself a bedtime. Put yourself to bed. Maybe for some people, it's I go to bed when I'm tired. But for other people, when you're on a schedule, I got to know I got to be up. So for me, I set my alarm for if I'm going to the gym 6:30, if I'm not going to the gym 7:30, because I know I need to be over making Spike's breakfast so that I can be home and start work by a certain time. And so if that's the case, I need to get up at that time. Then I know I need to go to bed at a certain time to allow myself some time, maybe that half an hour wind down time, so that I can get to sleep and I get enough adequate sleep. I know I need to go to bed between 9 and 10. Awesome. Danny, I made a goal for no fast food for 30 days. So far, I'm doing good. I'm proud of you, Danny. I've been watching your video. I see your updates, and so you got this thing, man. I got to tell you, Danny, I'm rooting for the Bills, though. I'm from New York, and so I'm not rooting for Cincinnati. Let's just pray for a safe game this time. Get on a schedule. Many people find that setting a sleep schedule helps them fall asleep easier. Your body has its own regulatory system called the circadian rhythm. This internal clock cues your body to feel alert during the day and sleepy at night. Waking up and going to bed at the same time each day can help your internal clock keep a regular schedule. Keep that thing in tune. Keep it wound, right? Our body adjusts to the schedule and it'll be easier to fall asleep and wake up around the same time every day. Perfect example. This morning, I did not set an alarm last night. Larry says I'm tired between 7 and 8. I hear that, bro. But I am not up between 3 and 4. I did not set an alarm this morning, but I knew I needed to be up before 7:30 in order to go get Spike his breakfast made. And I woke up around 7:17 and I looked at the clock and I was like, and then I looked at my phone and realized I did not set an alarm. And I said, look at that. I woke myself up, my circadian rhythm. I'm rooting for the Bills. They do not. Yes, Chicago Bears. I did see that. Fair enough. Awesome. Let's go Buffalo. So once your body adjusts to that schedule, it'll be easier to fall asleep and wake up. It's also important to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. This is huge. And I think if you're someone that has trouble falling asleep and staying asleep, paying attention to chasing that number is going to be more awkward. And so it's going to be more frustrating. And so maybe we need to work on focusing on these other things that might help you get to sleep. Bulletproof makes I'm just talking really fast real quick. Bulletproof makes a gummy that is a nighttime gummy. It has melatonin and stuff in it. And Heather has noticed that it calls for 3. She's noticed if she takes 2 before she goes to bed, to take a half hour before, that it does help her fall asleep. It's just not helping her stay asleep. And so maybe we make a few adjustments for these other things. Maybe we change the temperature and some stuff like that. We might be able to get her to sleep longer, because right now she's getting less than 6 hours of sleep a night. And I want to see her get closer to that 7 hours, much closer to the 9 hours. Give yourself 30 to 45 minutes to wind down in the evening before bed. Allows your body and your mind to relax and prepare to sleep. This is not the whole time for a million things to run through your mind. And so, how many of you, when you're trying to fall asleep, everything comes in your mind? Heather needed to find where her extra pair of glasses were the other night after she got in bed, because it's in her mind. So if we get in bed 30 to 45 minutes before we need to go to sleep, though, we can take care of that mind racing stuff ahead and then be more prepared for the sleep. Let's see here. Larry, I also am glad Tampa got beat, but I'm a Giants fan, so I'm never rejoicing when Dallas or Philadelphia wins. But I do think it's awesome that the kicker missed 4 extra points in a row for Dallas, or four of them. Come on, guys! This guy is like, your job is to kick extra points. Thank God everyone else was doing their job. Uh, experience both daylight and darkness. Experience both daylight and darkness. Light can influence your body's internal clock, which regulates sleep and wakefulness. Irregular light exposure can lead to disruption of circadian rhythms, making it harder to fall asleep. This is that whole monitoring what type of light you see. I have ADHD. My brain won't shut down. So, yeah, and sometimes it's a sleep study thing. Um, I get up 3 times, she says. Um, I have noticed that the amount of times I get up before having a sleep study versus losing weight and having gone on CPAP has reduced quite a bit. If I get up once a night, it's once a night, but I generally don't. Um, experience both daylight and darkness. We need to watch the light, and so that's why shut your phones off an hour or 2 hours before you go to bed is not a bad idea. Stop watching TV an hour or 2 hours before you go to bed. um, we have TVs in our bedrooms, we have phones in our pockets, right? Get a book out, read a book if you have to read a book. um, have a conversation if you're not alone, right? Spend time, intimate, close time talking and winding down together. If you are alone, maybe reading a book, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, oh, Danny, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Just put the phone on mute, right? Remove the distractions, right, Larry? During the day, exposing your body to bright light tells it to stay alert. And at night, darkness promotes the feeling of sleepiness. In fact, research shows that darkness boosts the production of melatonin, an essential hormone for sleep. You guys, no night lights. The booger man will not get you. Just go to sleep in the dark. It's going to be an adjustment, but it's not a bad thing. Um, and avoid looking at your clock, it says. I mean, how many times have you said, I tossed and turned all night and I kept looking at the clock and it was 15 minutes later? Tell yourself the clock is gone. Clock watching is common among people with insomnia. The behavior may cause anxiety about sleeplessness. To make matters worse, waking on a regular basis without falling back asleep may cause your body to develop a routine. As a result, you might find yourself waking up in the middle of the night every night. If possible, it's best to remove the clock from your room. If you need an alarm in the room, you can turn your clock to avoid watching it when you wake up in the middle of the night. Again, these are just some suggestions. Avoid naps during the day. What? Avoid naps during the day. Due to poor sleep at night, people with insomnia tend to be sleepy during the day, which often leads to daytime napping. While naps of short duration have been linked to improvements in alertness and well being, there are mixed opinions about the effects of napping on nighttime sleep. Some studies have shown that regular naps that are long, at least 2 hours, and late may lead to poor nighttime quality and even sleep deprivation. Watch what you eat and when you eat it. We're back to the whole lay down the law. Again, um, eating a high carb meal before you go to bed is not a great idea. They're saying if you want to eat a high carb meal for dinner, which I wouldn't recommend, you need to do it at least 4 hours before bed so that your body has enough time to digest. And the last thing it says, listen to relaxing music. Music can significantly improve quality of sleep. It can even be used to improve chronic sleep disorders such as insomnia. A study of 24 young adults demonstrated that sedative music promoted deeper sleep. Listening to music may be another great tool for better sleep. It can reduce the amount of time it takes you to fall asleep. The parameter is known as sleep onset. So my tip for the music thing is try instrumental music. Don't do music you know the words to, because you might spend time singing. Then get in some exercise during the day, guys. Make sure you're comfortable. They say the quality of your pillow is crucial. It can affect your neck curve, temperature, and comfort. Um, One small study determined orthopedic pillows may be better for sleep quality than feather or memory foam pillows. I'm trying to talk fast because we're at the 1 hour and I'm going to bring it to a landing. So, number one, guys, um, we're talking about dipping our toe in this weight loss thing. Number one, make a commitment this week. Comment below, what is your commitment for this week? Number two, start a journal. Get to Walmart, get the Trapper Keeper. Number three, set a hydration goal. When you're making your comment, tell me, what's your hydration goal this week? We already saw Donna's. I want to see yours. Number four, lay down the law. Guys, tell me in the comments below, what are you going to eat and when are you going to eat it? Pick a plan, okay? Let's pick a plan and stick with it for 8 weeks. Number five, set an activity plan. Pick an activity that you enjoy. Write it in the comments below. Let me know what you're going to do. Danny, we're going to have to get you some exercises you can do in bed. Get you one of those basketballs in the hoops across the room there, or something, right? Got to get some activity. And then number six, set that sleep schedule. I really appreciate y'all taking time with me today. I hope that you have a great week. I'm looking forward to catching up with you all next week and seeing how you did as you dip your toe in the water this week. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week, and goodbye for now.